Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. By the way, I was told that the link below, it's a humble bundle link for Kobold and Friends. I understand it's been extended for 2 weeks. I was like, holy shit. Tenkar's there's tavern.games slash humble kobold is the shortened link, so to speak, where you can go and you can back for well, it's not even backing, really. It's just we have a bundle for 5e and OSR releases. It's a pretty good selection. Go take a peek, see what you like. And if you make a purchase, you support a good charity and you happen to support the tavern. And we are not a charity, but we certainly enjoy your support. So, onward to the article from comicbook.com. I will include a link in the show notes. Dungeons and Dragons commits to keeping upcoming rules revisions under Creative Commons. Um, okay. Yes, no, maybe so. Dungeons and Dragons doesn't appear to be looking for a way to limit who publishes material compatible with the upcoming edition. This week, D&D's design team executive producer Kyle Brink appeared on several podcasts and influencer YouTube pages to explain Wizards of the Coast's reasoning behind a recent OGL controversy. By the way, the reasoning keeps changing a little bit. He's not consistent with it. Listen to the uh, the podcast, the interviews. Three black halflings. He didn't have the questions ahead of time. The second one from Game Mastering or some crap like that. It's a channel with half of the three black halflings audience. He gave all the questions ahead of time. And then when Ginny D had him on, she didn't give him the questions. That was the deal. So his answers are better when he has the questions ahead of time. What a surprise. And when he doesn't have the questions ahead of time, he makes stupid answers. But that's just my opinion. You should listen for yourself. In any case, and I provided preliminary updates about how Wizards plans to move forward from the disastrous, weeks-long split between the company and its fan base. Particularly in the interviews, which were separately held by the Three Black Halflings podcast. Good interview. The Mastering Dungeons podcast sucked. And YouTube creator Ginny D, short and to the point, was Brink stating that the system reference document, SRD, which lists what rules, mechanics, and Wizards of the Coast originated language can be used in third-party content, would be updated to remain compatible with the upcoming changes being playtested in the 1D&D playtest. Okay. The SRD will remain compatible with all the stuff we publish, including the new rule set, Brink told Ginny D. There will be like an SRD 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, and whatever, each of which will remain in Creative Commons and under the OGL 1.0A. Interesting. Now, why would they do that? Well, the reasons become clear as we read the rest of the article. Our commitment is that the SRD will continue to be compatible with the rules updates that are coming, Brink said to Teos Abadiah of Mastering Dungeons. That's the worthless interview, in my humble opinion. When you feed the questions ahead of time, your answers are going to be off the shelf, prepared answers, and that's not really valuable. Now, whether it's because we're going to bring rules in, bring wholesale text in from the rules updates, or whether we use some kind of bridging language. Interesting. Bridging language. That means that, your SRD might not really be the SRD you think it is. That's our promise, is that the SRD will be updated to remain compatible with the new rules update. Brink's comments are a continued reversal from Wizards' plans to deauthorize the open game license, which provided a framework for publishing material compatible with various Dungeons and Dragons rule sets for decades, even after Wizards of the Coast abandoned its plans to deauthorize the OGL. Do you really believe that they have fully abandoned? I'll believe it when we see a new OGL, and the OGL is the same as the current OGL, with this license is irrevocable, and then maybe I'll believe it. And release the SRD into the Creative Commons. Many content creators and publishers assume the upcoming new edition which is currently being playtested under 1D&D, would not be available for creators to use except under a more restrictive license. And that was my thoughts, too. Wizards of the Coast previously tried to move away from the OGL and open gaming when it switched to 4th edition rules back in 2007. You know how well that went. Publishers could only make content for 4th edition under the game system license, which was much more restrictive than the OGL. Many publishers opted to simply continue making material for 3rd edition, specifically the revised 3.5 edition instead, keeping that edition dominant within a greater tabletop RPG marketplace. Well, that led to Pathfinder, which was more popular for a while than D&D. The result was an edition split where fans had to choose between a rule set supported by third-party publishers or a rule set supported by Wizards. Wow. Okay. Are we saying that reluctantly Wizards of the Coast is going to learn a new trick? They're going to learn from an old lesson? In the interviews, Brink noted that 1D&D was looking to make revisions to 5e rather than release a full new rule set. I will believe all this when I see it, which would complicate any attempt to keep 1D&D under a more restrictive license. Because 1D&D will in essence be a revision to 5e, it would hypothetically be easier for third-party publishers to reverse engineer any revisions to the rules using the current SRD and circumnavigate any attempt to keep 1D&D restricted under a new license. Fair enough. Brings commitment. I don't believe he's committed at all. He might say he is. It doesn't make him committed. All right? He is somebody who's giving out answers that he expects are going to be well received by the community. It does not mean he's necessarily talking, and it might be the truth for now. That might be the current intentions. I'll believe it when we see it. Isn't that how it usually works? Brings commitment to keeping the SRD consistent with the most recent D&D rules is notable for several reasons. Now, it protects D&D from an edition split. We're already seeing that, right? Black Flag from Cobalt is going to be a 5e clone, and there's at least one other 5e clone coming, I think from Cubicle 7. So why would companies be doing such? Because Wizards of the Coast can't be trusted. So it provides some assurances to third-party publishers that they will be able to continue creating content for the most recent version of D&D. All right. Now, remember, when 5e was released, and now this is something, what does the OGL say? You can use any OGL with any edition of D&D that's released with an OGL. 5e was not released with an OGL. It took 15 months for us to get an open game license. They tried to play off, you just want free rules. Here's the basic set. Have at it. All right. I suspect we're not going to have an initial release of the 1D&D rules under the OGL. I could be wrong. They didn't give us 5e under the OGL for 15 months, and I suspect they're going to want to get a head start in content creation and get their stuff out first, because we know there's some very skilled content creators for 5e and beyond that can put out stuff really fast for 5e, probably better quality than Wizards of the Coast can put together over the next 12 months. They could probably do it in 12 weeks or less as third parties. And if you're Wizards, you want to hedge your bets. All right. It also undercuts the third-party publishers who plan to release their own 5e compatible systems that could potentially rise up to be a viable challenger to D&D within the tabletop marketplace. Now, that is true. Of course, Brink's commitment to updating SRD will be met with skepticism, of course, until Wizards actually updates the system. Trust in Wizards of the Coast remains at a low point, and many publishers will still likely move forward with their plans to either create their own systems or at least not commit as wholeheartedly to future editions of D&D. However, it seems that 1D&D and future updates to D&D will be available for any publisher to use and support. I'm going to say potentially at some point. It might not be out of the gate. I just don't see it. They didn't do it last time. I don't see it happening this time. So, folks, that's the news for the day. This article is actually from yesterday, Saturday. I know, I fall behind sometimes. Forgive me. Folks, if you like this channel, if you come back and watch these various episodes we put up, the live streams, the shorter news articles, please subscribe, comment, like. It all helps the algorithm. It helps us. All right. At the moment, this channel is not monetized. If you want to help, you want to get some good content, you can go to tankars-tavern.games/humble kobold, or you can go to, I believe, Pathfinder bundle number 2. But in any case, I'll put the links will be as a pinned comment after all this. Really do appreciate all the great feedback we've been getting. It really means the world. Folks, be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, roll them well. I'll be back again tomorrow. Tuesday is Valentine's Day. I'd like to know what you're all doing for Valentine's Day. As gamers, it's still important, right? Because you could be working stuff around your significant other or doing stuff with your significant other or both. I don't know. Love to hear what's going on. All right, folks. Catch you manana.